Hey guys, welcome back. Our first notes back from spring break. So today we're going to talk about the cardiovascular. So we talked about the heart previously. Now we're going to talk about the vessels of the heart and of the body, so that blood flows through the body, so we can give oxygen to the cells, but also take in the waste product of as carbon dioxide to expel through the lungs with the gas exchange. So we're going to look at blood vessels, structure, and function to start with. So three major types of blood vessels, which are going to transport blood to the body tissues and then back to the heart so that we can have those gas exchanges within the lungs. Is first is the artery. So it's going to carry the blood away from the heart. So as we talked about last time, it's not always just oxygenated blood that's carrying from that's within the blood of the arteries. It's not always oxygenated. Okay, it can also be filled with carbon dioxide as well, as we have two arteries that leave the heart, um, that go into the lungs that carry that carbon dioxide to the lungs where that gas exchange occurs. Arteries branch into small vessels called arterioles. And then we go from arterioles into capillaries, which are tiny capillary beds where gas diffuses. Um, so if we go from oxygen to carbon dioxide, or from carbon dioxide to oxygen, so we have capillaries within capillary beds within where we go from arteries to veins, but also where we have arteries to veins within the lungs as well. Then we have veins, and it's going to carry blood towards the heart. Now, blood drains from capillaries into smaller vessels or veins called venules, and then into larger veins. So the vessel structure, okay? Blood vessels have three distinct layers. We have tunics that surround the central blood-containing space called lumens, which we'll see a picture here in a second. And the tunic layers are thick in arteries and they're relatively thin in veins. And we'll discuss that here right now. So as we see here, we have the arteries and veins here. And so on the left, on the top picture, these walls are a lot thicker in these tunics than in the veins. And this is due to a lot of pressure. So when we talk about blood pressure, we're dealing with blood pressure of the arteries. And so we have systolic and diastolic pressure. So when the heart contracts and when it relaxes. So the tunic allows the arteries to expand due to the amount of pressure the heart pushes the blood through the body, but also lets it go back to normal with the elastic ability in order to go back to normal size during that resting potential as well. And so we have valve here. So this is the lumen. This is the inside. And then we have our tunic on the outside. So our lumen's in the middle, our lumen here. This is going to be our tunic here. And so as you can see the connective tissue here, the elastic lamina within the tunic, which gives that elastic ability to go back normal after we have a lot of pressure that goes through. Now, the other thing with veins, though, is veins are not going to have very, very thick walls here due to the part of we're going to rely on either gravity or muscle contraction to allow blood to go back to the heart. So it's going to go lumen artery, or this artery, to this arteriole, to the capillary beds, or the capillary network, and then to the veins. Now, the capillary is made of endothelium, which is simple squamous, which allows for that diffusion to occur, that simple diffusion without active or passive, or this is passive transport, and it's not active, it's not facilitated diffusion, it's just passive transport. So remember that from bio class. But this simple squamous allows those thin layers for gas to simply get across when needed based on concentration gradients. So we will see here a closer picture of the artery and vein that we've already talked about previously. The larger lumen for the veins, but the thicker walls for the arteries for that tunic. Now, some blood vessels of the body here. So, without talking about what blood vessels are, we have to talk about where these things are located. So, major arteries have systemic circulation. We have the aorta, which is the largest artery in the blood. It leaves from the left ventricle of the heart, regions of the aorta. We have the ascending aorta, aortic arch, descending or thoracic aorta, and the abdominal aorta. So, the ascending aorta, we have the right and left coronary arteries, the descending thoracic or descending or thoracic aorta, we have it's above the diaphragm. The aortic arch, brachiocephalic, guys. That's very, very key there. And think anatomical position between left and right. We have our abdominal aorta, which is going to run, pierces through the diaphragm and runs the rest of the torso length. Then we have the descending or thoracic aorta, so you're going to need to add these to your notes. We have our intercostal arteries, these are the thoracic walls of the rib cage. We have our bronchial arteries, or the lungs, or the bronchioles of the lungs. We have our esophageal artery, which is from the esophagus, and our phrenic artery, which is the diaphragm. So then I've highlighted some arteries that you need to know and be able to label, as you'll see in the picture below. And this is going to be very, very beneficial for you when you do your concept map. So I would use this picture for your concept map. But you're only labeling what's on this picture. So here's our picture here that you guys are going to have to know and make sure you guys are able to label. So I would pause this video, label here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see. And then I would pause here so you guys get the rest of it. And I added digitalis at the end there as well. So now we have our veins here. And so again, I would use this concept map to help you with the veins. Remember, the concept map is only what you labeled on your picture. So then here are our veins. I'm going to zoom in for us so you guys can see. And the right circle, or the R circle and an L circle, does right and left. So make sure that you guys know that the difference between right and left. I just used some medical abbreviations in order to save space. And so I'll pause here, take this down. Now I'll pause here and take this down as well. Now, on your arteries concept map and your veins concept map, two things. I would have your right side and left side. Make sure you guys label those. And then I would use your words here and getting help from this picture between our right and left. And then the same thing with our veins concept map. You have a right and left side. And I would use this picture, these words on here that you need, and this concept map to help you write that. But this will help you label the flow of blood flow. Other than that, guys, hope you guys have a great day. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And we'll see you next time.